Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here on our Training Thursday episode of the week. Yes, we are back with another exercise and fitness related show. Today, we're going to be going over what is a METCON workout. If you haven't heard of a HIIT workout, but you probably have, but if you haven't, we'll be going through that as well, and which one is best depending on your specific goal. So I love being able to make sure that you are always understanding the latest and greatest within the fitness industry. I would say that HIIT workouts have been around for quite some time. METCON workouts have really always been around, but not necessarily refer to it as a METCON unless you're in the CrossFit-based world. So now that more and more people are using that vernacular, we're going to make sure that you know exactly what it is. But also, I want to make sure that we can customize your exercise program based on your unique needs. So let's dive right in. What is a METCON workout? Well, METCON is just a fun name. Bottom line, it's a great name for metabolic conditioning. And you might say, well, yeah, that is a great name for metabolic conditioning, a nice METCON workout, but what exactly is metabolic conditioning? Well, metabolic conditioning is being able to exercise in a certain way, which we'll get into, but that improves not only your strength and your muscles, we'll say, but not to a large degree, but your muscular endurance and your overall cardiovascular health. That means, believe it or not, it even helps the aerobic-based system. And that is because during a METCON workout, you're essentially working in all three phases of your energy system. And I explained that before as to kind of what the best exercise is for fat loss. If you've never heard about that before, we've got all sorts of show on weight loss. And we also talk about, the whole fat burning myth. So I really went through it. I did a 3-part series on the fat burning myth. Let's find those episodes for you. Well, why don't we do this? If you're interested in how to burn more fat as fuel and the fat adapted myth, you can simply go to today's show, stephencabral.com/2302, and we'll link up that 3-part series as to know essentially how your body really uses fat as a fuel. But there are 3 energy systems in the body. One that essentially works for exercises that are all out less than 30 seconds. We'll say more around the 10-second mark. Then there's another system that works maybe somewhere between 60 and 90 seconds, depending on the individual. That's kind of the moderate range, the glycolytic. And then there's the longer form, which allows you to go out for a jog for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 3 hours, 4 hours, however long you want to jog. And that's the aerobic-based system. So a METCON workout typically is involving all 3 of those specific systems. So it can be a really useful way to get in overall great shape. And that doesn't mean just the shape of your body, but actually the insides as well. So how your heart functions, how your lungs function, how blood is moved through the body, and how the mitochondria work inside the muscles. So how are those mitochondria actually at producing something called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. That is that fast fuel that you're going to need in order to be able to move those weights or move your own body weight. So speaking of weights, what kind of weights are typically used during metabolic conditioning? Well, it could simply be your own body weight. You could be doing some type of calisthenics, body weight workouts, a body weight circuit, which is very, very popular. We'll talk about that in a moment. Or it could be a combination of many things. You could add in some biking, some rowing. It could be a whole circuit of exercises. So typically, you're not going super heavy in weights, but you can absolutely use barbells, dumbbells, medicine balls, kettlebells, sandbags, you name it. Whatever you're into, you can use for metabolic conditioning-based workouts. So it can be an overall great program to follow. Again, CrossFit has done this for many, many years. I was outspoken against CrossFit 10 years ago, and again, I see these things from an overall health standpoint. I also owned the largest functional medicine practice in Boston above a CrossFit, essentially. And so I saw a lot of the athletes there, and I saw how unhealthy a lot of the athletes were there on their insides, not necessarily their outside. They were in shape, yes, but I saw what it was doing to their body. Now, CrossFit has changed their model to not try to just destroy your body all in one workout, right? And so even the best when they do the fittest athlete on the planet or CrossFitter on the planet, they're not following the typical just workout of the day. They're doing it more methodical, and really that's what I think exercise should be. I don't think that you're supposed to, I know that you're not supposed to just go in, crush your body, and then expect it to perform year in and year out. You can absolutely do that when you're a teenager and in your 20s, and you're typically going to be okay. But that starts to unwind once you've been in the workforce for some time. You don't have proper biomechanics, meaning like alignment with your body because you're sitting all day. You start to have kids, and then you're not getting as much sleep, and you've got a whole lot of other, responsibilities. But again, there's a time and place, I guess, for everything. I'm not saying that it's healthy, but you can certainly get away with it to a far greater degree the younger you are and the better recovery you can get. So, METCON workouts, how long do they last? Well, honestly, some are typically between 10 minutes and typically 40 minutes. Like that's a normal metabolic conditioning based class, but you could have it all the way up to an hour. So you can definitely do like a group exercise based class that is metabolic conditioning that keeps your body moving, maybe even the whole time. I'm not a huge advocate of those workouts, but you can. The only reason why I'm not necessarily a huge advocate of those workouts is for the most part, it's just so many repetitions on your body, meaning like you might do 300 squats. You might do 300 lunges. And again, every once in a while, no problem at all. That's your typical workout. Not a great idea because unless you're doing that with perfect form, you're doing it just body weight, there's going to be what's called repetitive motion breakdown. So eventually over time doing things improperly leads to more wear and tear on your joints, which are also your ligaments and tendons, etc. So that's the only thing. I love people to be able to exercise. I just want them to do it safely so they can do it until they're well past 100 years old. So that is that. One thing I want to share with you is this, because we're going to get into high intensity interval training in just a moment and what the difference is and why you should choose one or the other, is that high intensity interval training, by the way, is called HIIT workouts, HIIT. So I'm sure you saw those as well, but there is a big difference. And that's because metabolic conditioning and HIIT workouts are sometimes used interchangeably, meaning like, oh, I'm doing a METCON workout, I'm doing a HIIT workout. Well, I just want to share with you that all HIIT workouts are METCON, but not all METCON workouts are high-intensity interval training. You might say, okay, what are you talking about? You're losing me here. All right, well, I want to explain it to you this way. High-intensity interval training, you're typically not doing a round, so like 1, 2, or 3 exercises, no more than that typically, for greater than 30 to 90 seconds. And that is because a high-intensity interval training workout is really supposed to be 80% or higher of your max heart rate. So I have a podcast on how to find your max heart rate and how to work up to it. But basically, you're working almost all out. You're working 80, 90%, or maybe all the way up to 100% for 30 seconds. Maybe it's 60 seconds, maximum really 90 seconds. If it's more than that, well, you're moving more into, or at least you can sustain a little bit more of aerobic-based endurance. So certainly that's going to be considered more metabolic conditioning, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a lot of people say they're doing a HIIT workout when they're not really doing a HIIT workout. They're doing more of a metabolic conditioning workout, which again, nothing wrong with that at all. You never need to do a HIIT workout if you don't want to do a HIIT workout. But I want you to know, I tell this all the time to people too, like for a keto-based diet. Most people are not doing a keto diet. That's the truth. All these people eating slabs of beef every single day and meat, and especially like the lean meats that they're eating, that's not a keto-based diet. It's just your macros are off. You're never going to be able to, if you achieve a state of ketosis, it's only because you're fasting for a longer period of time. It's not from the foods that you're eating. But again, I digress. All right, so let's go back to what is this high-intensity interval training? Well, think of it as like, you could consider a Tabata a high-intensity interval training. So it's like all out, one exercise, like as fast as you can go for 20 seconds, and then you're resting for 10 seconds, and then you do it again for 8, total rounds. If you don't know what a Tabata workout is, we'll link that up today as well at 2302. StephenCabral.com/2302. Yes, we've broken into the 2300s now for podcasts. So there's a little bit of everything. Literally at StephenCabral.com/podcast. You can search for almost any topic in the world, as long as it's related, of course, to health, wellness, anti-aging, weight gain, weight loss. I do try to cover that, and I've been doing so now for 6+ years, and I'm just trying to keep that as a running archive so you can search any topic you wanted, and hopefully it'll be there for you. If not, of course, you can always request it, and I'd be happy to do a show on that as well. So one of the reasons why people like high-intensity interval training is it really is the maximum way to overload the cardiovascular system while working the muscles at the same time. I mean, that's really the truth. It's like you're working right up to your max aerobic, max cardio, while also burning up not just a lot of calories, because METCON does that as well, but you're stimulating your EPOC, and which is the oxygen needed post-workout. We're not going to get too deep into that. I have a podcast on that as well, but that's not the name of the game for today's show. But also, you are working to failure. You are working typically to exhaustion, where you're not always doing that for a METCON-based workout. So there's a time and place for both. They're both fantastic. They really are. It's just the truth of the matter is this: unless you're working right up to essentially failure for how much you can do. So think about this, like how many burpees could you do in a minute, like going as fast as you can? That would be HIIT workout, right? Because then there's a period of rest you're following. With METCON, there doesn't necessarily have to be a work-rest ratio, not specified. So for a HIIT workout, it might be like 1 minute on, 30 seconds off. Or it might be 2 minutes sprint. You're probably not going to do it in 2 minutes. So let's say you're doing a 90-second sprint, and it might be like 3 to 5 minutes off, because you're doing a full sprint, let's say like around a track or something. That is absolutely a HIIT. That's a high intensity interval training workout. Well, what makes it interval? Well, you have a period of rest, right? So that's the interval. So an interval workout is always work, followed by rest, followed by more work, followed by more rest, and repeat that cycle. Now, the work to rest ratios could change through the workout. That's okay, but it is absolutely working and then resting. Where a METCON workout, not necessarily, excuse me, take a little sip of water here, back on track. So a METCON workout is this. Think about this, and it's very popular with personal training, and it gets great results. I do METCON workouts myself. So a METCON workout, I do it with weights. So I might use cables, I might use bands, I might use dumbbells, whatever it may be. And I'm working more towards my, let's say, not really phosphagen system, which is like the low rep range, or all out effort for just a few seconds, but more like the glycolytic. I'm burning sugars during that. And then I'll do an exercise that allows me to maybe move more towards the, let's say, metabolic endurance based. I could be doing, I could be doing mountain climbers. I could be doing frog jumps. I could be something plyometric based. So let's just give you an example. So you might be doing let's say a cable chest press, followed by a dumbbell Romanian deadlift, followed by, let's say, band rows, like power rows, where you're stepping back and pulling, followed by, let's just say, medicine ball slams. Like, I'm just making these things up. That could be considered a metabolic conditioning circuit right there. So I would complete that. Maybe I spend 30 seconds, or maybe I spend 1 minute per exercise. After that, I can rest for a minute. I could rest for 3 minutes, and then I can go back and I can do that again. So you can see that there's not massive differences, but typically with a high intensity interval training workout, you're really not going in there and doing like chest presses. You're not doing like Romanian deadlifts. So if you're doing that, it's more of a metabolic conditioning workout. I know it's somewhat semantics, and honestly, it doesn't really matter what you call the workout. I always say that. It doesn't matter what you call a supplement. It doesn't matter what you call whatever. It matters like what's the effect that I get from this, right? That's really what we're after. So for most people, they're doing metabolic, or should be doing metabolic conditioning workouts, because the truth is, like, you can get real strength from a metabolic conditioning workout. You really can. You can get cardiovascular endurance. You can get a lot of calorie burn. You can absolutely boost your metabolism for an extra 16 to 31 hours is some of the best research that I've seen. So why would you ever then do a HIIT workout? Well, a HIIT workout pushes you closer to your maximum effort. And so that's still great to do. So a lot of people could actually add a little bit of HIIT for the last circuit maybe after their workout's done. So for example, maybe they're doing a metabolic conditioning workout for 20 minutes. And then maybe after that, they finish with a high intensity interval Tabata. That could be one thing they do. Or they do 30 seconds of mountain climbers followed by 30 seconds of rest, followed by 30 seconds of mountain climbers, followed by 30 seconds of rest. And maybe they do that 3 to 5 times. That would be a nice HIIT finisher. So you can see you can actually get the best of all worlds. You should always kind of end your workout if you can on a little bit of a high, and that'll boost that metabolism to a greater degree. All right. One more point I want to make, because I'll keep this short. Well, I guess we're right about time anyways, because I like to make sure that you can tune in on a daily basis so you get a wellness, an integrative health, a functional medicine, Ayurvedic, you know what I'm saying. You get a little tip every single day that you're able to implement. So what you can do is do 1 or 2 METCON workouts, use them as strength training based workouts per week. I like to get in, I think most people should be doing 2 to 3 strength based workouts per week. Now, maybe 1 is fully strength, but 2 could be METCON. And then at the end of any one of those 3 or all 3, you could do some bike sprints, you could do a Tabata, you could do any one of these HIIT-based workouts, and that would allow you to get that maximum intensity and boost your metabolism as well. So these are great for calorie burning. They're great for endurance, cardiovascular health, believe it or not, they really are. And if it's more Metcon style, well, you're able to use some weights. You're able to actually get in some of that strength training as well. So hopefully this was a good overall overview today of the difference between a Metcon and a HIIT workout. I said there was going to be one winner. Well, if I could only do one workout for the rest of my life, it's definitely going to be more metabolic conditioning, because I can actually add more weight load to my body. It's not that you can't do that with a HIIT workout. It's just more unlikely because it's going to be more explosive movements all the time to be able to get that heart rate to 90% max, 80% at least max for it to be a true HIIT workout. So in my opinion, yes, I'm always going to do HIIT workouts. However, if I could only choose one, metabolic conditioning gives you the best well-rounded variety, in my opinion. If you think otherwise, let me know in the comments. Love to hear from you. Let's keep it respectful always. I mean, we have an amazing community. People always do. But if someone comments with their comment, don't tell them they're wrong. Just simply share your point of view. We can all choose to hold our own viewpoints, but if we can help provide more education in the world, that's really what it's all about. So thank you so much. All the details, all the previous shows I spoke about will be at stevencabral.com/2302. I'll talk with you tomorrow on our Friday review. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.